Alright, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Friday, and I'm yelling, so I'll move the microphone further away. And then I'll bring it back and be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? 'Cause it's Friday. Are you wearing pants on this lovely Friday? Pants? On this Friday. I hope you're wearing pants today. Or, if that's not something you're into, don't wear pants today. Do whatever you like. It's Friday. Who cares? Get wild out there. Do some aquarium stuff. Wear pants or not. It doesn't matter to me. Personally, I don't mind. What is going on today in my neck of the woods? Well, it just so happens we got to go to the zoo this morning. Shout out to Akuna Matata. That makes me laugh. If anybody saw Monday's show, you'll know why I'm laughing. Can't wait till you have to worry about... oh my gosh. Says, I can't wait until all you have to worry about is catching hepatitis when you go into a New York City subway station again. And I will tell you, I can't wait for that day either. You know, we're just out here quarantining. We're in a quarantine world now. I guess we just can't get any kind of cohesive we can't get any kind of cohesive action on what it is that we're supposed to be doing to those of you that live on another planet, whatever planet that may be. I'm not 100% sure, but living here on the Earth planet, we are dealing with the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic over and over and over and over again. Although I will say, I do recall only 4 months ago, my prediction was that this whole situation was going to last 9 months. And I do believe I titled a video about that this was going to go on 9 months. Now, I have to admit, we are only between 4. So here locally, we're probably 4 months in, maybe 4.5 months. And I gotta say, initially going into this, I was like, it's probably going to be 9 months. It's probably going to be 10 months. It's going to be maybe longer, right? That's kind of what the experts were saying. And the reason I say that is that I do defer to the experts on most everything in my life, let alone the epidemiologists, the people that study how viruses move around populations. They were saying 9 months, 12 months. And I hate to say that I think that they were accurate, because we have case loads out the wazoo out here in the United States. And I unfortunately read an article the other day regarding some epidemiology. I hope I'm saying that right. Don't necessarily quote me on everything I ever say. And they were saying, yeah, if you look at New York, that's probably what we would expect in a lot of the other cities in the United States. And from the evidence that they were gathering, they said it looked to be like we had 15 or 16 more New York cities happening as their caseloads are growing and growing. And I got to tell you, I don't think that I'm 100% optimistic right now in regards to what we're seeing around the United States. But I will say, from having gone to the zoo this morning, I'm a little bit encouraged by seeing the response of the people at the zoo. You know, everybody's showing up at a specific time, spaced out before you go into the zoo. Certain things are closed. A lot of the hands exhibits with the kids touching stuff and all that, that's all kind of closed. But there's markers on the ground to go all around the zoo. And I will say, you know, we spent about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours at the zoo. We got to go to all the exhibits. People were respectful. Everybody was, you know, following the paths that are painted down onto the ground. They painted arrows so that everybody would know, stay to the right-hand side as you're walking around, go this direction. You go in the zoo, and you get to go and follow all around all the exhibits. And I have to say, it was almost nicer than having been at the zoo previously. Even though there was a bunch of parts that were closed, that part was missing for sure. It was almost kind of nicer. Everybody was kind of relaxed and being respectful and not running on going all wild and stuff like is normally going on at the zoo, like a zoo, right? Oh, jokes, kids. So I do have to admit, I'm a little bit encouraged by seeing everybody, you know, everybody's wearing their masks, doing what they're supposed to be doing, and just the respectful manner that people were acting and behaving. No one was being oppressed. No one was missing their constitutional rights and any of that stuff. But everybody was just having a good time. We got to see the animals, the exhibits, go around, and it's really enjoyable. We went to the Point Defiance Zoo down here in Western Washington, which is in kind of the northern part of Tacoma. And a beautiful zoo, not a whole lot of lions and that kind of stuff. It's mostly, they have like Northwest, they have two aquariums. So they have one that's kind of they have one that's kind of warm water. They have one that's like warm water, and they have one that's cold water. Basically, if I was to give you a real basic explanation that doesn't do it justice, but they have two indoor aquarium exhibits that are pretty good. I wouldn't say that they're the greatest ones I've ever seen. I wouldn't say fly 6,000 miles to come see these exhibits or anything like that. But hey, if you happen to be in the area or something like that, fantastic zoo, good time walking around. And so that, in my mind, is a bit of encouragement that this is literally an area that, you know, it's literally a spot that would be a contact zone that would potentially spread a virus around, and it did not seem to be any of that going on, as far as I could tell. You know, everybody kind of stayed in their little groups and was moving around, and it was really cool. It's good to see the penguins. It's good to see the penguins again. Stop in and see the penguins another time. We love that little penguins, and there are more penguins. They are a breeding in that zoo. So shout out to that. They have a red wolf exhibit, which is awesome to see in the Northwest. It's not something, you're not going to see red wolves up here unless you're at the zoo. That was really cool. The tigers. I do have to admit, the tigers, two things from seeing the tigers today. Number one, you come around a corner, right? You know, you're not like, oh, there's a tiger around the corner. You know, you're coming around the corner, you don't really know there's a tiger around, and the tiger's sitting up there, you know, far enough away. You know, there's all the barriers and everything, but there's a hill that goes up, and there's a tiger just sitting there, and I came around the corner, and you realize, like, the piercing eyes coming straight at you, like, oh, I'm a tiger, and I know you're there. You know, um, it's unsettling as a human being going like, oh, I know that that tiger could clear this distance in no time if it wasn't for these obstructions and eat me. So that was a little bit weird. And then another one of the tigers seemed kind of stressed out in its cage, but I think it had something to do with mating because it seemed stressed out at the other tiger that was enclosed in another area. I think it might have been a mating thing going on, but who knows? Who knows? I don't work at the zoo, and I'm no tiger expert. So, but that was cool. I definitely got to see a lot of cool fish today, from hammerhead sharks to sea rays to rockfish, tuna, nurse sharks. What else? A bunch of jellyfish. A lot of cool fish today. So that was rad. I got as many like legitimate pictures of them as I could. So I'll probably post those up. I don't know. I'll probably post those up somewhere, maybe Instagram or something goofy like that. Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep them for myself. Who knows? Who knows? Tank Nerd Mitch says, my city issued licenses for restaurants to serve people in the parking spaces. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, realistically, being a guy who was a professional chef for many, 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 many years, that does make sense. Whether you'd want to set tables up and that kind of stuff, I don't know. I would say this is probably a stressful time for restaurateurs, but I would also say, my experience with knowing from super famous restaurateurs all the way down to just individual people that own a small teriyaki, I was going to say small teriyaki restaurant, but I would say I even know a guy who owned a teriyaki food truck, all the way down to those guys. A lot of them are not very, you would expect them to be super creative, but most of the restaurateurs aren't very creative. And I really think this is one of the times where I feel personally that there are a lot of restaurants in this country that have taken advantage of cheap food, cheap service, cheap for so long that they've lost all of their creativity. So I would encourage things like that where restaurants would be able to serve in the parking spaces, because not only would that provide enough spacing from people to not be spreading around stuff, it actually might be kind of a cool experience to bring back that kind of drive-in vibe, maybe. I don't know. But I do know a lot of restaurateurs are super stressed out and that kind of stuff. But seeing as how it's a 90% failure rate for opening a restaurant in the United States, I mean, 90% is a little bit of a stretch. It's 87%. 87% failure rate for restaurants in the United States before the pandemic. My guess is a lot of them that were going to close have already closed. So we'll see what happens. But it's it's just such a multifaceted, weird situation right now, where a lot of corporations are getting bailed out. A lot of those small ones never got a chance to do anything about it. But hopefully, some of those guys could figure out some creative ways to make money, I guess, is the simple way to put it. But yeah, I don't know. I think realistically what I would be doing if I owned a restaurant at this point in time, what I would be doing personally is doing uncooked prepackaging of food. And how I would explain that is that if you notice shortages of food and things like when you went to the grocery store, it's because a lot of the food that was still being produced and stuff was being packaged for restaurants and schools and all of that kind of stuff. They weren't being broken down into smaller packages. What I would have been doing is I would have laid off all of the wait staff. I would have laid off the bartenders, blah, 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 except for whoever wanted to stay on and kind of be the salesperson if I was running a restaurant. And I would have started taking the restaurant-sized food and breaking it down so that people could cook it at home and selling uncooked, prepackaged kind of deals. That's what I personally would have been doing if I had a restaurant. That's how I would have gotten through the pandemic. I would have been like, you can pay top dollar for, food delivery at your house, that kind of stuff. But I would have just offered, like, here's all the beef is marinated, it's uncooked, blah, blah, blah. Here's all the stuff pre-portioned and packaged up into a small package, and been like, I would have sold family meals that were uncooked, just ready to go. That's what I would have done. If I owned a restaurant, that's what I would have done. Whether that would have worked or not, I don't know. But maybe there's somebody that owns a restaurant that accidentally watches this, and maybe that's an idea that could help them out. But that's definitely what I would have done. G-Bear says, yeah, in New York City is dangerous. They're sitting where cars were parked with wood around them. Oh, I've noticed that. I noticed that there's a lot of the parking spaces have turned into, like, dining areas for food. I would assume that's kind of the same as sitting on the sidewalk, realistically. A lot of restaurants have sidewalk dining. So I would assume safety-wise, it's probably exactly the same, realistically. If you were to get the statistics of, like, how dangerous that is, it's probably just as dangerous as sitting on the sidewalk. Every once in a while, a car goes up on there and something bad happens. Matter of fact, I was running a restaurant about 3 o'clock in the morning one Friday. Some drunk driver. And so this restaurant, if you guys want to look it up, it's called Beth's Cafe, which is the place where you get the 12-egg omelets and stuff. You may have seen it on Food Network or something like that. I was one of those crazy guys that cooked there. And one night about 3 o'clock in the morning, some drunk driver ran through a red light, clipped a car, hopped up onto the curb, and drove down the sidewalk. Now, luckily, everyone that was out, because there was always people out on the sidewalk. They were always out there, like, smoking cigarettes and hanging around all night long, that kind of spot. And luckily, somehow, he didn't run anybody over on the sidewalk. But what is funny that happened, he was driving down the sidewalk, eventually crashed into those newspaper things that slowed him down enough that he stopped. But the funny thing that happened was he was so close to the building going down the sidewalk that it clipped off the water spigot that's stuck like this far out of the building. So, the water spigot, just like a garden hose spigot that you have outside, that thing got shorn right off. Just boink, just knocked that thing off. And there was just water shooting straight out of it, because this is like, industrial, industrial water supply to a restaurant building, right? So this is a 3/4 inch pipe that's probably at 90, 100 PSI, maybe even a little bit stronger than that. So the thing just was shooting water out into the street for hours. And eventually because we had to call, I forget who we didn't know where the water cutoff was. We had to call somebody from the city to come down and turn the water off. And then it turned out that was like one of the things that the building, or that the restaurant owner wasn't responsible for replacing for whatever reason. So we had to get the property owner to send somebody out to fix it. It was kind of funny. Weird story from my past. Kind of unimportant to anybody out there, but I would assume that ties in somehow with the whether or not eating on the side of the road is as safe as eating on the side of the road, I think, realistically. We got a 2257 Swedish kroner super chat from Rumbust. He says, for hepatitis. I'm not sure. I don't have hepatitis. I've got all my inoculations from that for working in restaurants. You have to get all of your, what is it, hepatitis A, C, and D, I think, are the ones that you have to get. It's all these like extra vaccinations so you don't catch hepatitis working in restaurants. It's a really good idea to get those if you happen to work in a restaurant, because you're going to be around a ton of people. Big D Smoke with a $20 super chat says, yay to the Penguins and the Tigers. Just $20, man. Thank you very much. That makes that kind of, hey, between you and Rumbus, that makes it a possibility to do these shows, do these live streams. As you guys know, they're unlisted now after a couple of hours after they've been uploaded. So I know people have been commenting about it. They go unlisted. So if you're not a subscriber, if you don't get a notification, you're probably never going to get exposed to these live streams later. And it gives me a chance to actually talk to people in the chat as opposed to like the edited content where you stick to the topic. I generally don't stick to the topic. Kind of look at this as like a like this is my public access radio show that has video and stuff. But Punchy Paints is here, keeping an eye on all the riffraff just in case. We got our moderator here, so watch out. Michael Sar says, thanks for the link. That's right. I posted the Osmo Action camera, which is this link right here on the old Amazon. If you guys don't know, Federal Trade Commission requires me to tell you that this channel makes a cash commission if you go through our Amazon link and you go buy whatever you buy. It's a very small percentage, but just a heads up. If you go through the Amazon link, I do make money, so beware, I guess. I don't know. But that's the Osmo Action camera, which is what I recommend to pretty much everybody out there. If you're trying to film your aquariums, that's pretty much the best entry-level camera for filming your fish, for taking pictures of your fish, for going underwater of your fish. You can go inside your tank, all that kind of stuff. It has an app, so you can set it up on a tripod, so you can go away, you can start record, you can take pictures, do all that kind of stuff. It's the all-around camera that I recommend to everybody. It's not that expensive. I get it. $250 is $250. So, let's not downplay $250, but I feel like even if you're 15 years old, you can go mow some lawns, you can do some work, you can make $250. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And it is a great camera that will work very well for everybody that's you're trying to do some video of your fish tanks, if you're trying to get pictures of your fish tanks, that kind of stuff, time lapse, all those things. And it really is good. It's the one that I recommend to everybody. So if you feel like that's something that's a priority to you, check out that camera. If not, it's all good, baby. Alyssa Bentley says, used to work at Beth's. That makes 2 people I know in the local fish community that have worked at Beth's. I don't know who the other person is, but yes, I am one of the old-time Beth's people. I believe there's black and white pictures of me in the old-timey Beth's Workers Hall of Fame on the wall or whatever there. And one of my best good friends is the operator of that restaurant. So still one of my best good friends, who just coincidentally is the operator there. Yeah. But yeah, it's a crazy Greasy Spoon restaurant. I would recommend anybody to check it out. It's definitely a novelty type place. It is old diner. It's old American breakfast diner food the way that it was served 50, 60 years ago. So it's kind of a classic style stuff. You're going to get lots of hash browns. You're going to get cheese and ham and bacon. You know what I'm saying. It's old school American diner breakfast food. And is there a better spot in Seattle to get that food? Maybe in the past there might have been some higher grade versions of that kind of food, but no, they're all gone now. So Beth's is the one that has remained over the years and years. Chris John says, always torn between carports or more stuff for the aquariums. I can legitimately respect that conundrum. I have definitely been down that road before. I don't do very much car work and stuff like that anymore these days, but I can 100% respect that conundrum of like, I've got these two hobbies, but Christopher, I would say some of the projects I'm working on with my aquariums, trying to keep them as cheaply as possible. So these little beta tanks, there'll be another video about these tomorrow, the terrarium, the outdoor terrarium ones that I've been doing. The tank was about $30. The rocks, I got a big giant box of those rocks. It was $100 shipped. So the tax was $10. $110, and I got a big box of those really cool rocks from SR Aquaristic. Not even sponsored video or anything like that. They are not a sponsor. I think I would like them to be a sponsor. I really like a lot of their products, although I've emailed them a couple times, and they've never emailed me back, so who knows? But I really appreciate their products. Those rocks were really cool, so that was about $110. And then some substrate, and it was ready to rock and roll to do these outside terrariums. So altogether, to do 3 of them, I think I was out about $200. A bag of substrate. Each tank was about $30. So it seemed all pretty reasonable to me to do these like 3 outdoor tanks that will eventually come inside after the fact. So, I don't know, maybe you rebuild the carburetor, spend a couple $100. Depends on what car you're doing, though. That's really kind of one of those things that boils down to, like, what kind of cars are you doing? Because if you want to take a 2-barrel up to a 4-barrel or something like that, that's going to be $600. So I feel like 3 terrariums for like $200, pretty good deal. Versus, upgrading your carbs or something like that. Redoing the injectors. Who knows? I don't know what you're doing. So hard to say. Mikey Fishy with a $5 super chat for the bacon money. Well, thank you very much, my guy. 100% appreciate it. Thank you. Fish Tank Barn with the tip jar, a $5 tip right into the old tip jar, the big box of rocks fund. Thank you very much. I have, so once every 2 months, I have ordered the $100 box of rocks from SR Aquaristic. I got some elephant stone from them. I got some gray elephant stone, and I got some petrified wood. All 3 really nice. All very, very, very nice. I very much appreciated it. Yarden Schiefers, I don't know how to say your last name, so very sorry. And I don't know if I said your first name correctly. Says, are the live streams getting deleted after they're uploaded? I could have sworn I saw a few notifications for live streams I couldn't find later. They don't get deleted. They just go unlisted is where they go. So if you are somebody that has your notifications turned on and you have the link to it, you can still go and watch the live streams later. They still exist. And it's actually kind of funny because I was going through the analytics just a little while ago and realized that like some people still have the links saved from videos because they go back and they watch those live streams, and there'll be like one view going by on the last 48 hours. Like, somebody's watching a live stream from quite a while ago. So a lot of them are going unlisted these days. I'm slowly going through the list and just unlisting them. And one of the big problems is, and I know some people got a little bit upset with me that I'm kind of changing what it is that I'm doing, but it is just a matter of I do a lot of live streams. So what ends up happening is that people get, like, new people to the channel, they get listed, hey, check out this video. And it's literally me making fart noises at the beginning of the show and saying hi to everybody and blah, 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 and this kind of stuff. And, you know, somebody doing that a month ago doesn't really relate to somebody a month later. And I don't necessarily want to change the interactive nature of doing these live streams, like actually talking to you guys back and forth. So that's like, I don't want to change much about how I'm doing the show. So what I did was I was like, I'm just going to change how the algorithmic learning of the robot machines that run YouTube now interact with new people coming to the channel. So hopefully that works out a little bit. G Bear says, does it help the channel to unlist them? To be honest with you, it's sort of an experiment. Realistically, to see what happens. And I will say, if I go to analytics and I look at it, the thing that's really different is the subscribers and new people coming to the channel. Subscribership, I only get like 200 subscribers a month or something like that. Although it has been in climbing as new people come to the channel. And obviously, new subscribers doesn't really mean anything on YouTube. It realistically just has to do with views. Views is the only thing that really matters via YouTube. But I honestly feel like if somebody new comes to the channel, they watch 3 of my produced videos, and they're like, oh, hey, I would like to follow this guy. They'll probably get a notification later for a live stream. Then they'll come to a live stream and be like, oh, he's actually talking to us about the thing that's going on July 17th, 2020. And they'll be like, oh, okay, this is the interactive thing. So if I get notifications for this, it's an interactive thing, and I'll be able to come here, ask some questions, and, kind of go back and forth. Yarden with the follow-up says, is it possible to make a playlist for unlisted videos so that we can find them, or does that defeat the purpose of unlisting them? Well, honestly, if you become, this is some of that hard sell stuff. I do have a list of them on the Patreon. If you become a patron or you become a YouTube member, you get access to our Discord. There's a list of them on the Discord. It does cost money to become a patron or a member, and I understand that. I don't really know how to archive stuff and it be something that I work on top of what I already do, and just continue to do stuff like that without having income. So the reality is, like, the reality, the way that I look at it is, Patreon is $1 a month is the minimum. YouTube is like the $5 a month is the minimum to be a member on YouTube. And that's just kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't mean to, like, sound like I'm being mean to people that can't afford it or anything, because I'm really not. But all of the YouTube stuff is free. I don't have any, like, secret member stuff on YouTube that that people can't check out. All the stuff is free on here. on YouTube. I put a lot of time and energy into doing YouTube, and you guys can access all that stuff for free. The Discord, yeah, you get access to the Discord, and it really is. It's our little community there where people can like get a hold of me or get a hold of other people in the community, and that's just kind of I think it's just kind of like the cost of admission, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to. I probably should have thought of like a better way to communicate it. James Shepard says, I would love to, but I'm financially difficult or financial differently at the moment, having financial difficulties at the moment. And that's the thing. Like, so I don't want to eliminate the interactivity. So by doing the live streams and having them unlisted, people like James, who's having financial difficulties right now, which is totally fine, can come here, type into the live stream, and we can have some interactivity back and forth. James Shepard, the other comment you said was, if I hadn't seen your plants and trimming videos, I would not roll in for the live chat. But love Joel even more from the live streams. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, if people are introduced literally to me and I'm like, well, the United States administration is really screwing up this pandemic response, and somebody had just come in here, they'd be like, oh God, this guy's talking about politics. Now I'm super pissed. Ugh! And they leave, right? And which is fine, but a lot of what I do on this show is just sort of free form, like what's going on, having a conversation back and forth about things that are happening. And obviously the focus of my channel is to make planted aquarium videos that help people out with their planted aquariums and stuff. But the live stream is kind of an open space to have discussions about things that are going on. And I'm somebody that is open to have discussions. I am somebody who regularly reads, who's regularly gathers more information. I change my opinions about things over the years because of more information or better informed to make a decision or change my mind about something. I feel like it's the way that a healthy human being exists within the world of trying to interact with the world and interact with the world in a better way and mature throughout life, because you learn new things, you have new experiences, you meet new people, you learn about other people's experiences, and that's something that I value a lot. Andrew Lippick says, will you and Corey ever go back to doing the Real Fish Talk? I wouldn't say no, but the chances are monumentally slim to Corey and I ever doing the Real Fish Talk ever again. And the reason I say that is simply the it's more of a pragmatic statement than anything else. I would love to continue doing I would love to go back to doing the Real Fish Talk with Corey. He doesn't have time and I don't have time, and it became a huge cost for us to do the Real Fish Talk. I don't know any of the analytics, whether or not it ever made money via the analytics, any of that kind of stuff. I don't know if a ton of people watch it now or anything like that. I haven't even gone back to look at them. So I don't know any of that stuff. But what I do know is that it was a whole day of work for me, and it was a whole day of work for Corey, and it was a whole day of work for Jimmy in order to do that. So you're talking about 3 people that earn adult salaries. You're talking about one guy, and that's Corey, who runs a very successful business, who is just kind of away from running his business for a whole day. And you're talking to, at the very least, 2 adults that make adult salaries, grown man salaries, right? And all 3 of us being occupied for a whole entire day in order to do the Real Fish Talk. And it never hit that point of popularity that's like, man, we got to keep doing this. We did 50 episodes over an entire year, I believe. I think we did basically a year, maybe 9 months, maybe it was 10 months. I don't know. I would have. It doesn't matter. We did over 50 episodes, and we feel like we put in the energy to try that experiment. It's not like we did 2 episodes or something and like, oh no, it's not doing great. We did 50 episodes, and I realistically feel that Corey and I put in the time to see if it was something that there really was an audience for, and it didn't seem to be the case. So, it's like, Corey does his live stream, I do my live stream, and us independently doing them is more successful than us doing them together. So it's hard to say like, yeah, we're going to go back and do that thing, because it's kind of going backwards realistically. Corey does his live stream. When he does it, it's really successful. He is doing edited videos. He's bringing in more people doing videos. He's growing more people in the hobby. He's bringing new plants into the hobby, new equipment into the hobby. He's doing a lot of stuff. And, even just he and I on a friendship basis, we hardly have any time for us to do friend stuff. And then you throw the pandemic on top of it. It has been a whirlwind of difficulty trying to get everything done. We were supposed to go to Germany for 2 weeks in May. We were supposed to go to Germany for 2 weeks in May, which would have been a ton of content together, a ton of videos together, all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. That convention didn't happen. It was canceled because of the pandemic. So we've tried to schedule some things, but, to go back and do a podcast together that was really not that successful, it's like a 0.1% chance that we might go back. I don't know. Richard Costa says, I'm nervous about completely uprooting my Amania gracilis and my Rotella rotundifolia to trim the bottoms. How long will it take to recover and continue growing? Realistically, don't be nervous about it. You're going to cloud up the water. You're going to make a little bit of a mess. You're going to trim those plants. You're going to replant them. They will reroot. It's hard to say exactly how many days, but it is quite rapid. Rotella rotundifolia is basically going to root and start growing, within the week. Amania gracilis, 5 days probably. It really is much faster than you would expect. A lot of plants, and I always forget this whenever I'm live. I don't know why when I'm live doing a show, I forget. What is it when frogs take in nutrients via the skin? I've looked it up before. I have the clock on there. And I don't know why. If I'm a regular human just talking to people, why can't I find it now? Yeah, there's a name for it. They have gluconeogenesis on here, but they don't have, what is it, osmosis? Yeah, I think I'm just going to say osmosis. I think that's right. That should be right. Osmotic? Yeah. A lot of plants are actually pulling in nutrients through the water column, through their skin, basically. That's the kind of layman's explanation. Osmosis, I believe, is the correct term. I'm having a brain aneurysm at the moment, but that's okay. It should be osmotic action, although I might be wrong, so don't beat me up over it. But a lot of nutrient can be brought in via the air quote skin of the plant. There we go. And you should be fine. Do not stress out that much about it. It is a process of doing your tank and doing it the right way, not only in my opinion, but, find anybody out there who's a better aquascaper than me, and they'll be like, yeah, that's exactly how you do that. So I wouldn't stress out about it. There are a few plants that it's a big pain to do. You know, like if you have to replant dwarf baby tears or something, you know, those hair grasses, carpeting things and stuff like that, that is a pain. Any kind of stem plants, do not stress out that much about it. Just set aside some time so that you can do it. Just so that you're prepared to go like, okay, take your time, go slow. You don't have to go about it like all hedge trimmer wild, and it should be fine. So deep breath, not a big deal, and go ahead. Who was it? Somebody else asked something. I wish I had an old school 67 Impala sedan, currently working on a 95 Integra. Oh my God, come on now. All right, 67 Impala, respect. 95 Integra, respect if that's what you got to work on, because you got to work with what you got. So I wouldn't say that my first inclination is that the 95 Integra is that great of a car, though. Let's be realistic. Yarden Cypher says the YouTube Discord link is expired. Oh, no worries. I will fix that after the show. Or if you scroll down further in the members, there's another link that should be able to get you through. But I will make a note. Where's my pencil? I'm going old school. I'm going to make a note with my pencil. Right here on a piece of paper that says a bunch of weird notes on it. Look at that. Discord link update. Cool. I'll make a members post for you after the show. I can't really do it during the show. I mean, I could, but you guys would literally just be staring at me clicking buttons. But we do have some new members, so shout out to our new members today. It's getting us closer to our goal of 100, which we hit 100 once, and then it just went away. Furry Pal Grover says, longtime listener, first-time member. Thank you very much. 100% appreciate it. And Yarden Cyphers, new members. We got 2 new members at the same time. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do with this. Let's go to 96, and we'll just marinate in 96 YouTube members for a second, and then we'll go up to 97. So we got that updated. Boom. Now, as you guys know, the Friday show is for the Patreon posts. I normally go through the Patreon posts on a Friday, and we only got one. So I'm kind of holding off going into the Patreon posts here because we only have one, and I don't want to, you know, we don't want to bust too early. You know what I'm saying? We bust out the Patreon post, and next thing you know, no one has any questions or anything. So we've got a couple questions here in the chat. Let's jump through these really quickly. Richard Costa says favorite root tabs. My personal favorite root tabs are the CChem root tabs. Believe it or not, people think I hate CChem. I really don't. I don't hate CChem. I do have some videos that may or may not question the cost for the product on some of the CChem products. That doesn't mean that I dislike that company or have some kind of axe to grind with them. I really don't. But my personal favorite root tabs are the CChem root tabs. Personally. Favorite. Personal CChem root tabs. Those are my favorite ones. Alyssa is saying, do I want another? I could post something. You can't post onto a members only onto my YouTube, Alyssa. You can't do that. Don't worry. I'll fix that thing up. You should sell your clippings. It has to hundreds of weeks going to the chickens from G-Bear. A lot of people over the years, including even this last week, I had people even on the Discord like, man, you should sell your clippings and that kind of stuff. That is not my aim or my goal. My goal is to not be selling stuff for profit. You know, it's not my goal. That's not my business. You know, my business goal is doing construction. I like doing constructive projects. I will be plumbing in a bunch of tanks, doing a bunch of plumbing again soon. I do small house remodels, that kind of stuff. I build aquariums. I build a bunch of other things. Like, I do a ton of stuff. My goal is to be doing documentary type film work for aquarium things. That is my goal. And to get completely distracted trying to sell plant trimmings to people, if that was my goal, if I wanted to own like an aquarium plant farm or something, that's what I would be doing. I do want to get more into agriculture that I've been working on. We do the gardening, and I do have a greenhouse project that will be going in at some point in time, and some other stuff that will help people with that. But honestly, it's one of those things that it's not my goal, and I don't have like the ambition to like sell the clippings. And Steve will know this personally. I brought over I think altogether like 10-gallon bags of plants to him a little while ago. Local guy, needed help with some plants. Very good guy, local dude, friend guy, Discord guy, that kind of stuff. I'm down to help out, like, members and that kind of stuff, like if it's something that can work out with my schedule. But really dedicating time to properly packaging plants, properly identifying, cleaning them, putting them into the tea bags, putting them into plastic bags, going to the post office, shipping labels, doing all that kind of crazy stuff. That I refer people to go to Aquarium Co-op, buy plants. They will be properly shipped to you in a very timely manner for a good price at a good quality. And that's the way to go. In my opinion, like, go get plants from Aquarium Co-op. That's my advice, and that's the thing to do. Just kind of the way that I look at it is like, so the average pay scale for somebody who's doing plumbing, like let's say a plumber. Let's see what average hourly rate for plumber in the USA. So the average cost to hire a plumber is $70 to $120 an hour, but so the low end of hiring a plumber is $45 an hour. That's probably somebody who's doesn't have a license or anything like that. The high end is $200 an hour, but about $120 an hour is generally what you'll pay for a licensed bonded plumber to come to your house. Now, as I still have my business license, but I'm not currently doing anything under my license as far as my handyman job, is that I would basically come in at a lower rate than that to do all the miscellaneous stuff that a plumber wouldn't want to do. So let's say I make $30 an hour doing a handyman job all day for somebody. Multiply 30. What's 3 times 8? Do we know? Do we know what 3 times 8 is? $240. Then you got to pay your taxes on that, which is going to be approximately about $80, right? So that's the reality there, is that you make $150 to $200 a day as just doing handyman jobs and that kind of stuff. Do that 5 times a week. Make about $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month, $50,000 a year, right? Start to do the math on plant trimmings and stuff like that to try and figure out how to get to that rate. You're gonna have to be constantly doing that, and that's not something that I want to do or could even sustain realistically. So that's my reasoning behind that. When The way that I look at it is that I could try to do that and I could try to take money from people or whatnot, or I could try to share some of my knowledge and experience that you guys could get for free, right? By watching it on YouTube is essentially free. And then more people would be growing the stuff that I would potentially be selling to them. Does that make sense? I feel like expanding the community to be able to do and grow the thing that needs to be grown or that they would have bought from me would be a much better world than me going like, hey guys, I've got a $50 plant for you. Who you going to buy it? And you know, maybe I'm wrong for that, but that's, you know, it's the way that I feel about it. Like I have a bunch of plants that I could easily sell, but you know, that's not what I'm about. I'm not a salesman. I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody. Somebody says C-Chem over co-op for root tabs. Then X asks that. They asked what my personal favorite is. My personal favorite is the C-Chem root tabs. Those are my favorite ones. So I could lie to you and say that the co-op root tabs are my favorite, but they're not. And I don't put a lot of stock or value into people that lie about whatever it is that they're talking about. So, you know, I choose to not do that myself. Now, I have been wrong on many occasions, but it is not out of dishonesty. It's just literally being a stupid idiot. Which, hey, that stuff happens. What are you going to do? Joel G says Corey and Joel still go to line dancing every Tuesday night. You know, the problem with that, last time I checked, the Little Red Hen, is the only place I know that has line dancing on Tuesdays. They're not open. So, can't be true. Not all of us are living the luxurious life like Mr. Joel G is in New Zealand, where everything is open. Everything is open, and the coronavirus is not spreading around, and everyone catching it, and you know, getting lung scarring to strange blood clotting disorders to what's the other one? Fatigue. You know, all the crazy stuff that's going around that with the coronavirus. Joel G doesn't have to deal with any of that because he's down there in New Zealand. You know. Aquariums maintained by Andy. Lots of Andys in this hobby. Yeah, I guess. There's lots of Andys, period, I think. I know a few Andrews out there. Stuff and Stuff. Wondering, what are your favorite fast-growing plants? Ooh. Let me think here. Any pogostemon, any of them. I think I have 5 varietals now. They're all way different. They all have a tendency to grow fast. They have a tendency to grow fast. So I would say any pogostemon, probably my favorite fast-growing plants. Not necessarily my favorite plants, but favorite fast-growing plants, yeah. What do we got here? Let's scroll up a little bit. I probably missed something of value. Richard Costa, be right back. Beta chinoides are pairing up. Must take photos. Yeah. Bentley Pascal and Alyssa Bentley. If you guys don't know, both of them in the chat have come to be on this live stream here. And I feel like I spent a lot of time talking about the Real Fish Talk, and it didn't occur to me at the time because I thought I was speaking about something specific, which I was. But Alyssa Bentley and Bentley Pascal, Pasco, sorry, are 2 people that have been lovely guests on this show. And once this pandemic kind of dials down and all that kind of stuff, we'll be back to having guests, specifically those two guests, when it's possible. So feels like an alternative to the Real Fish Talk to me, but I don't know. I'm at least half of it, right? I'm at least half of the Real Fish Talk. Hey now, depending on what's in that Integra, it could be entertaining as well. From the Sci-Fi Swordsman, that's very true. It's very true. An Integra could be an exciting car, although it is a 95, and I would say just the interior of pretty much any car from 1995 is just sad. G Bear says Joey Diaz just joined Patreon. Well, you know, it is what it is. I guess I kind of enjoyed Joey Diaz, but I honestly don't think he's that funny. I don't know. People might be mad, but it's just a matter of taste. Like, I don't think like his comedy is that funny, but I don't know. It's just me. I think it's just a matter of taste that I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's just a dude being super crass. So, you know. So let's get to our Patreon post of the week, which is the only one we got this week. So let's not spoil it. Big Dreams sent this in, which is, oops, outdoor tub fail. No one told me my plastic tub would melt and fold in half in the sun. I should have known better, I guess. Started with a couple of Endler guppies. They seem to be doing well, as I have a bunch of fry in there. Just added a cool Ludwigia species mosaic plant. I don't know what Ludwigia species that is. I couldn't figure out what that was. Excited to see how it does, which I'm excited to see some up close. I'd like to take a look at that plant. And you guys know Endler guppies are pretty much one of my favorite he's my favorite fish. It's up there in my favorite fish. The Endler guppy is one of my favorite fish of all time. I got some lovely Endlers from Alyssa a while ago. Unfortunately, that tank was not maintaining them very well, and they slowly but surely kind of whittled away and died off. But we'll be back. Well, don't worry. You know, that just kind of happens sometimes with fish. Couldn't really figure out exactly what was wrong until it was detrimental to their well-being. So, it sucks, but got that water hardened up now, so it should be fine next time we go that route. But yeah, so Fish Tank Barn says, drain the pond some and reinforce with cinder blocks or wood. Yes, these black totes with these yellow lids are very commonly sold all around. People always ask me about putting fish and water and stuff like that in there. Yes, you can. This is one of the downsides, though. They do have a tendency to collapse when they are overloaded or get heated up by the sun or whatever, kind of cause these problems. So there's multiple things that you could do. My recommendation with this situation is get a ratchet strap, wrap it around this thing, ratchet strap this thing back up to get those long sides tucked back in, and then figure out a better setup for long term. As the Fish Tank Barn says, drain that pond and reinforce with some cinder blocks or wood. I would just find something that's a better long-term fit. I actually have a 120-gallon acrylic tank that I bought from somebody that was going to basically throw it away. It was like $75 or something. Perfect outside tank. So my recommendation, look around on Craigslist, look around on Facebook. Somebody's probably going to be selling a tank that you could just put outside. And, like I said, obviously $75 is more than this plastic tote, but you're really not going to run into these types of concerns, honestly. So that's kind of my recommendation. Is it the best recommendation in the world? Maybe yeah, maybe no. But it maybe spark some creativity out of you and see what happens. We have a $5 super chat from Steve Beartich. Is that how you say it? Hold on. I gotta go to my Facebook. He sent me a video the other day on how to say his name. That's right. Steve found me on Facebook, and he sent me a video on how to say his name. And I should be saying it right, but I might not be. Let's see. Whoa. What happened? Where'd the link go? There we go. Hold on. We have no sound.
Beartich lesson.
Beartich. There it is. I got it. Oh. I hear my baby. Let me see. What's going on here? Oh, no! I might have to go do dad duty. Oh, I got a text. Yep. I got to go do the daddy duty. All right. Okay. I want to give a big shout out and thanks to everybody. I have to go do daddy duty now. She is awake, and I can hear her crying. Oh. So I'm going to have to go take care of my baby. I want to say thanks to everybody for coming out today. I need to open my viewer activity list here so I can remember. Rumbust, Big D Smoke, Mikey Fishy, Fish Tank Barn, Steve Beartich. Thank you very much for your super chats today, and Yarden and Furry Pal Grover. Thank you very much for your super chats today. I very much appreciate it. I got to go do daddy duty. Hold on. I got to on my way. I got to go take care of my baby and do that kind of stuff. If we have time this weekend, I will do maybe a short live stream this weekend. So turn on your notifications, do that kind of stuff. If we get to 100 members, I will do a live stream this weekend. So I'll check it tomorrow, and if we have 100 members, I'll do a live stream over the weekend. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday.